here I go again with another topical matter on Team Fortress 2. You know, I really should, brush my hair for one of these, so I actually look proper and not a mess. But here we go. What is up, everybody? Captain inn-zhano Esquire, we're back again. As you can see, we're in the old raglan shirt. I was about to settle down for another evening of recording, and then a kind of discussion topic just sort of popped up into my head. It's going to be a discussion about TF2. There's no TF2 gameplay, so sorry, don't really have much to look at other than my ugly mug. So, well, I guess you can just leave this on in the background. But the main topic of today's video is free-to-plays. Now, free-to-plays have always had a kind of a negative connotation in the... they've always had a negative connotation in Team Fortress 2. Especially in TF2. Not so much in many other games, but in TF2 it's definitely kind of like a... It's almost like a negative stigma that is stuck towards a lot of TF2 players. So, what's my kind of... I'm just kind of like taking my stance here and just talking about it. So, free-to-play versus pay-to-play. The big question on everyone's lips, does it really matter? How to make a long and incredibly boring story short? No, it doesn't. It does not matter whether you're pay-to-play or free-to-play. Let me just get out a cheap shots fired joke here right off the bat, just to kind of liven the tension. For most pay-to-play elitists, just because you buy hats and people aren't able to afford any hats in a virtual game, that actually doesn't mean anything mainly to their daily lives and routines, and you think that you're better because you spend real money on a fictional hat that in the grand scheme of things is actually pointless, doesn't change the fact you're still shit at this game. Okay, now that I've got hate mail in the comments, I think the hate mail is actually just people not watching the video or not even commenting, but hey ho, let's just carry on. But I'm the first to admit, I'm really shit at this game. I'm really shit at TF2. And I'm not even free to play. I used to be until like Christmas of last year. No, 2015, not 2016. I'm still used to it being 2016 at this point. But for me, it's got to be the fact that with free-to-plays, I mean, we always seem to... Because whenever the community is against something like Meet Your Match or whatever, or competitive versus casual, everybody says, we need this togetherness. We all need to be together. But that's fine and dandy, but mocking free-to-plays who are still technically part of the community is being hypocritical and contradictory towards the statement of unity. That's more kind of... I think it's unfair to segregate free-to-plays. I mean, yes, sometimes free-to-plays can do some of the most hilarious and dumbest things ever. I get that. Sometimes they're not that good at the game. But instead of mocking them for it, why don't you actually attempt to help them get better at the game? Therefore, there'll be one less dumb free-to-play on your hands, and you might have a free-to-play who is competent. I've ran into plenty of free-to-plays, even a few free-to-plays in some of my recordings, where they've gotten really good kills, they've done really well for themselves, and they've done great on their performances. I think it's like an unfair stigma that I think started from when the free-to-play update first came into the game, which is when people started to really, really insult the free-to-plays, because they thought, oh, these dumb, idiot 12-year-old kids, they have no idea what they're doing, they're going to drag TF2 down. If anything, TF2 actually benefited much more from turning free-to-play. That's my opinion, and you can fight me to the grave on that one. But I think overall, I just don't think it matters. It does not matter. Like, free-to-play or pay-to-play? Here's a new one. PFF. play for fun. It doesn't matter if you spend money on the game or if you don't spend money on the game. As long as you're playing for fun and playing to enjoy yourselves, I think at the end of the day, that's definitely what matters, in my opinion. But I know there's going to be a lot of dissenting opinions, but I think it's a bit unfair to say we need togetherness and unity in our community, but then mock a certain area of the community itself. If anything, that's just driving an even further wedge, because if we're just mocking people who are free to play at the game all the time, they're going to feel terrible, and then they're going to be driven away, and they're going to go to some other game. They might go to your competitor, and then for all you know, the competitive, the guys who could be competition for TF2 might be a more welcoming community that might welcome them with open arms. If anything, in this scale, I think for TF2, it needs all the players and all the fans and everything it can get at this moment in time. It's locked in a dead war with Overwatch as well, as we see, and Paladins to some degree. So competition is now rife for TF2. And I think that with a free-to-play community, we should not really be mocking them. We should bring them in. Bring them into our community, and instead of driving them out. Because if we just drive them out, all we're doing is just making TF2 seem like a bunch of elitist arseholes, which I have met plenty of them in my time, even some racist people that I may have to do in a separate video. But I think what we need to do is more just accept that free-to-plays are here to stay. They're here to stay so long as this game is free. And you might not like it, but you just have to accept that you need to accept them more into the community themselves. Because even if they're not buying anything, they're still contributing and offering something to TF2, which is a player base, which means that there's more players playing TF2, no matter if you're free to play, pay to play, hell, if you're one of the game developers, the more hands we have on deck in TF2, the more popularity it gets, and I think definitely more publicity because there's more people playing the game. TF2 is meant for everyone, not a select few. With that being said, I'm Captain inn-zhano Esquire. I'm off to do a couple more recordings of some other videos, but this has been my review on does it matter to be pay to play or free to play? Long story short, no, it doesn't. Also, PFF, play for fun, guys. Don't play to be an elitist arsehole. So, Captain inn-zhano, I'm signing out. See you next time.